So, hi everybody. I know it has been more than just a little while since I've done any sort of an update or a vlog on here. I don't know, just felt like it was time to jump back on and do this. I, might do it more often. I don't want to necessarily guarantee that it'll be the case, but you know what? I've had a few things come up over the last several weeks, and I felt like it's time to put together another update. So for those that haven't you may not be friends with me on my Facebook page, I know I had an actual weight loss Facebook page, but I honestly, at this point, I've even forgotten what that password is, so I've pretty much just disregarded that. But a few updates here for those that may not be aware. First off, the obvious, I am growing, not necessarily anything as a full beard, but I don't know. I've enjoyed this. I started it back in November. It was a little bit different, and I've enjoyed it since, but keeping it maintained, not growing in anything big like that. We have since moved. We lived in West Virginia for 2 years. Obviously, before that was when I actually had my surgery, which being in Northern Virginia. But now we have relocated just about a year ago at this point to South Carolina, in the Charlotte area. But we are actually outside of Charlotte, but right on the border in South Carolina, and we absolutely love it. There is so much to do. It's so much fun. There's plenty for us to go and do, even outside of Charlotte itself, like in our little pocket of some of the suburban areas. And then every once in a while we go into town and we have to remind ourselves that, you know what, we do live here and we do live in Charlotte. It's kind of nice. But yeah, last year has been really, really good for us. But no, yeah, my dad moved down here a while beforehand, and we went down to visit, and it's great to be able to get together and see him. He's maybe 15 minutes away from where we live, so it's fantastic. Yeah, enjoying getting used to the added heat, but the wintertime was not bad at all. I didn't mind not having such a cold winter, which I'm used to. I mean, being in Ohio, I was always used to that, but it was a nice little break. So I won't lie. For those that saw my last video, not update, but I did post a video about 2 weeks ago, I think, somewhere around there. I did something really stupid. Yeah, Ryan's in the back. She just giggled at me, but it was not smart. I will definitely not do it again. I did what's called the Death Nut Challenge. If you've seen like the one chip challenges going around, this is basically the next step up. Whereas instead of just a single chip, there were these 5 different little packets in this one giant container. But 5 little packets of peanuts, and usually about 2 to 3 peanuts per packet, of constantly higher levels of heat. And it's made from the same people who, if you know anything about spicy foods or peppers or anything else, it's from the same people that are right here in the area. I mean, the shop's like 15, 20 minutes from where I live. Not even, let's say 15 tops. That created the Carolina Reaper. So, I mean, they know their peppers. And the first of the 5 the first level had Carolina Reaper powder. It's like a peppered powder that could just, by the 5th peanut, I mean, they're these thick, caked on. Oh my God. So I was in a lot of pain for that period of time. And even if you go to the video, even for about 45 minutes or so after the video was done, I was still hurting. Not so much with the spice. Actually, in my mouth, it was hot, but it was really my stomach. So it was just, looking back on it, it was just a dumb idea. I'm definitely not going to do it again. I will still enjoy spicy foods and their hot sauces, because their hot sauces are still very, very enjoyable. That's not going to change. It's going to take a little bit of time. I'm not going to jump back in. I've got hot sauces here, but I'm not going to be jumping in on those for at least a few months. But eventually I will go back and, enjoy them, because it is something that I like in small doses. But yeah, so that happened 2 weeks ago. And then, after about, like I said, 45 minutes or so after the end of the video, I was feeling all right, not too bad. But then a week later, last weekend, about Friday evening, 8 o'clock-ish, I was, starting to feel a little pain. I had my gallstones. I still have my gallbladder. That hasn't changed. It's been monitored. I haven't had an attack for several years, and I know it's something that eventually I will have to get rid of. I just haven't been in a massive rush, and there hasn't been anything where it's been a constant pain, or when the doctors have taken a look at it, it's never been anything where it's to a point where it is detrimental right now, where it has to be taken out. So they're still at a point where they're just kind of monitoring and keeping an eye on it. But around 8 o'clock-ish on Friday, I had a very similar feeling, not as intense and slightly lower than where it was, like as far as like area around my stomach. But this time, whereas an attack would last an hour or so, I would relax and it would go away. This was less intense, but never went away. And it was uncomfortable enough to where I couldn't sleep. And, just try to lay down, try to let it pass, thinking it was something similar, thinking, something similar to a gallstone attack. But around 2:30, I said I've had enough. I woke up Ryan, and thankfully I was able to get in touch with my dad. We, dropped off Scarlett and went to the emergency room, where I was still in pain. They took a look, and they essentially diagnosed it with gastritis, so inflammation of the stomach lining. They said it could have been a number of things, diet, stress, etc. So I don't think that the Death Nut Challenge was the only reason. Was it one of the main reasons? More than likely, yes. It certainly did not help in any way, shape, or form. But I don't believe it was the only reason why that had happened. So, but they put me on some additional medication just for the next couple of weeks, which I've been taking still. So it's been a week since, and they gave me a GI cocktail and a little bit of morphine later on in that morning. And then I was feeling fine. I still felt it during that day, that Saturday, and a little bit less the next day, and a little bit less. And at this point, I don't notice anything at all with that whole area where it was. So just continuing on with that medication. So another kind of an update where, kind of what I was really getting to as well is trying to refocus with weight loss. Obviously, if you go back to a lot of my videos, I think at my highest I was at 484. I had at one point gotten myself down to 325-ish, kind of in that area. I have to double check. Gotten myself down to about 325, and then got lazy, got complacent, especially since the move in West Virginia. A lot of it, threw me off, and then I never got myself back into a routine, unfortunately. So, that was a big, big issue on my part. I did get back up a bit. I think I went up at one point to 385 or so. I don't think it was ever higher than 385. But I would go up and down kind of, within a range, but never higher than that. But even before the whole gastritis thing happened, I had been trying to work on getting myself back on track and Ryan and I tried keto for a little while, and I definitely see benefits, and I want to continue with something like that. But I don't know if I could really, for me, it after a few weeks or so, I just wasn't feeling as committed to that. There was a lot of eggs, and it was a lot of food that I didn't mind, but I couldn't do it on a constant basis. So I've readjusted and going, trying to commit to a better overall diet period, but still sticking to something lower carb. Not denying if I were to have, maybe a piece of toast with, some peanut butter or something for breakfast in the morning, something simple, but nothing that's going to be too, I'm not going too big with carbs. Nothing, we haven't really done anything with pastas, a few things with rice every once in a while, but not on a regular basis. So still sticking to veggies, good fruits, lean meats, trying to get along there. So at this point, I've gone down to about 360, and hopefully continuing, on that path back down to, my end. My overall goal is still 275. I would really love to get down to that point, and I don't doubt that I can if I can stay committed. And that's really, that's the battle right now, is just getting back into a good routine and being able to commit to the routine. And whether I want to admit it or not, the whole events of going to the emergency room could have may have really been a wake up or a scare for me to get back into it, and so be it. Wasn't the way I would have wanted it to be, but it's a good motivator nonetheless. So I wanted to get on here and just let you guys know, just kind of fill you in on things. If I do these more often, which I certainly would like to, but things are going to happen. Like next weekend, we're not even going to be here. We're going to be going and doing other things, so I won't really do an update here. It's not going to be a regular occurrence, but I wouldn't mind getting back and doing this a bit more often and showing you around the area and what we've got, what we do, and like I said, just kind of a general update and kind of bringing you guys up to speed on what I've been up to. So I appreciate it. I will definitely let you guys know how things are going, at least if anything else, weight loss wise, because that's still a big focus. And we'll talk to you soon. Take it easy, guys.